quickly, before moving on, I would like to have the sea be a bit transparent. For this, we can edit the material of the sea in our addSea function. Let's create a variable for the material and move the create function call to the reference. Then we set the transparency flag to alpha and set the alpha layer of our material color to a number between 0 and 1. And now the sea is see-through and we can see enemies that are hiding underwater and aim at them. Now for the splatter, I want to finally do its name justice. So when it hits the planet, it should create a splat. Just like we use for the reticle, we can use decals for this. And I'm not sure how this will impact performance on the long run, but that's a problem to solve later. For now, we enable the collision with the terrain. We need to be careful though, because when we fire a splatter now and it hits the planet gets deleted and our game doesn't like that. In the collision function, we only want to delete the enemies when we hit them. So let's check if the node we collided with is an enemy. Now when the splatter hits the planet, everything keeps working. When the splatter collides with the planet, however, the splatter should get deleted. The splatter has served its purpose, and otherwise after firing splatters for a while, they'll build up and start to lag the game. So we'll check if the node is a planet and call Q3 to delete the splatter. To create the splat effect, we'll go to the planet. Let's make an array to keep track of all the decals and create a function we can call from the splatter to add one whenever it hits the planet. In this function we need the position for the splat, which is roughly the position of the splatter when it hits the planet. We then create the decal, set an image, in this case just a red blob, set the position and add it as a child. When we add it on collision, in game when we now fire a splatter, we see it splat on the surface. But when we rotate the planet a bit, decals aren't greatly positioned. Let's make them a bit smaller and we need to give them some rotation so they're always pointing out from the planet, just like the player is doing when we move around the planet. In the player class we have the function that updates the up factor. Let's move this to general and make it a static function. We'll get some errors because we need some extra information. We need to ask for the global transform apart from the new up factor. Then just copy paste and return the new global transform, fix the player. And in the add splat function, we can only access the global transform of the decal after it has been added as a child. So let's update the global transform in the line after that. Now when we fire some splatters in different locations, the splats all come out nicely. But after 7, they seem to disappear. That's because the limit of the mobile renderer that I'm using is 8 decals on a single mesh. And we already have our reticle. The solution for this I'm gonna use for now is to switch to a different renderer. The Forward Plus renderer does not have this limitation, and if I want to bring the game to mobile, I'll have to come up with a different solution. But when we run the game now and keep spamming splatters, they all nicely create a splat on the surface.